In Cobalt, there are a lot of ways to do channel selections. There's the simplistic way of using the keypad to type numbers in, using plus and minus and through to create your channel selections. There's the groups we've recorded previously, which we can get to through the command keypad or the direct selects. And then there are commands that we can use to combine direct selects or combine keypad commands to get different kinds of selections in place. One of those ways is to select multiple groups. There's two ways to do this. The command keypad style is to select a first group and then select another group using the command group and plus. So I've selected group 2 and I want to add group 3 to the selection. I can just type 3, group and plus. If I'm using at mode, the language is a bit simpler because I can simply type group 2 plus 3 ... and that does the same kind of selection action. If I want to remove a group from a selection, the command is group and minus. So I can deselect group 2 from the selection, 2, group and minus, or use the at mode command, which would simply be -2 ... Depending on your selection order, if you selected groups and then channels and then groups again, the at mode method might be -group 2 ... I'll clear out my selection and show you how to do this all in the direct selects directly. There's a button in the direct selects called Add and Replace. The default operation of group selections is to replace. So if I select group 2 and then touch group 3, the channels in group 2 are automatically deselected for me. If instead what I wanted to do was select group 2 and then add group 3 to that, I can change the state of the direct select by touching the Add Replace button. Now, when I touch additional groups, they're simply added to the selection as I go. If I touch a group again, it deselects that group from the current selection. When you're working with moving lights, you might want to select lights that you have manually changed values on. So I'm going to get myself started here with some channels that I've selected and adjusted just by moving random parameters. So now you can see in your attribute views that there are some purple or changed parameters on some channels in the show. I might want to say that I want to select all the lights I've just manually adjusted and then do something else with them as a group. There's a soft key that will allow you to do this quickly under the selection or select soft keys. When I go into those soft keys, one of those buttons is called Select Changed. And when I push that soft key, all the lights that have purple attribute values are selected as a single grouping. There's some other selection tools that you can use, and we'll get out of our attribute view to see how these work. When I press All by itself, the system selects all channels with intensity above 0. This includes marked channels. Marked channels are not at 0. They have just enough intensity information on them to be interesting to the record if active logic. This does mean, however, that they are active channels, and they will be selected with the All command. You can also use All in combination with other keys in order to get different kinds of selections of lights. I'll change my format to show us just what gets selected when I use these commands. So right now I've got a lookup on stage that's running an effect. I don't know which effect playback it is at the moment. I just want to grab control of that effect or those effects very quickly. I can press All and Effect together, and that will select all effect playbacks with intensity above 0. So basically all running effects. I can also use All or the channel key in combination with palettes. So I'm going to use my focus palettes as an example. If I want to select all of the channels that are currently illuminated on the stage and in the main or focus palette 1 position, I can hold the All key and tap the main focus palette button. And now all the channels that are currently pointed in that spot, and I'll change my format again to show me just the selected devices. You can see I've selected all the lights with a focus position of main. All the lights that are lit, in other words, intensity above 0, and in focus position main. If I want to select all of the lights that have any data recorded in focus palette 1, I can hold the channel key and tap that button. And that's going to give me a much different channel selection, not the ones that are currently pointed at focus palette 1, as you can see in the display, but all of the ones that were recorded into focus palette 1 initially. So the possibility exists that I can now place all of those lights into the main focus palette because they all have valid data for that position. The last selection tool I'm going to show you is called Invert Group, and it's a button on your face panel that allows you to change your current selection based on selected lights, unselected lights, and intensity states. What that means is I select some lights and I turn them on. I say I want to work on just channels 1 and 2. For example, I change their color to something. And now I want to change the other 4 lights to something else. So a quick way of selecting all the other lights that are on and deselecting what I've currently got selected is to just hit the Invert Group button. That deselects your current selection and selects all other channels that have intensity. So I can turn those a totally different color. Invert Group is an interesting command because it can be the fastest way for you to select all the lights that are on stage and all the currently running effect playbacks in one command. Invert Group can also be used as a shortcut to quickly select lights and effect playbacks that are active in one single command. I'll turn on an effect so that we get a mixture on stage. And if I want to record this complete look into a preset on a master, I might want to select all of those active things at once. I'll change the format to selected lights so that you can see what happens when I use this command. When nothing is selected, the Invert Group command will select all channels with intensity above 0, including all effect playbacks that are above 0. This is a quick way to combine those lights that are perhaps running under the effect or running with the effect in one command and then get those lights recorded someplace special like in a group or in a preset.